Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back for another Dragon Ball figure news video. We are doing this one on a Monday today because not only has something come out yesterday that I actually am glad that I waited a day for, but obviously with the Thanksgiving weekend your boy was a little bit busy, and I ain't even gonna front with you, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon and that's been taking up a lot of my time, so it has been hard to find time to record amongst all of that. But we are here now. We're going to go over everything that has happened, of course, in the last 2 weeks of figure news. We are going to sort of basically summarize the things that we took a look at in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, I'm sure that, you know, if you're anybody in the Dragon Ball figure community, you saw that Gohan Beast got the SH Figure Arts figure. We will go over that very briefly. However, I did make literally 2 videos talking about that. So if you would like to see more of that in detail, definitely go check out those videos from this week. But as per usual, we start where we left off on good old Dragon Ball figure news. Of course, from that event, the Tamashii Nations Tokyo 2022 event, we got that figure and a bunch of other figures, which we will talk about later in this video. This was interesting that they listed the limited edition bundle of Dragon Ball The Breakers. It's about $24 less than the retail price, and this is the version with the Cell Shell, which is interesting. So low-key, if you want to get this and you want to get the game and you just want to get the Cell Shell, this would honestly not be that bad of a choice for you. It looks like you can only get it on PS4. I'm sure if you probably look around the website, you could find a different version of it, because this is just like the quick view and it does have the Switch there. But keep in mind, this is only for a little while, and I'm assuming this is basically just like their Black Friday and of course Cyber Monday type of shenanigans. So yeah, here's the Nintendo Switch version that you could buy with the Cell Shell. I might actually get this myself, I'm not gonna lie, just so I can get the Cell Shell and review it. But this is a better way to get it. We've talked about this figure many times on the channel before, so I figured I would include this in here just because obviously, you know, it's relevant to the figure at least. Okay. Moving on from that, though, of course, we have to talk about the shenanigans at play here. We had the showing of the amazing, the spectacular pen. No, of course we're going to click on the Gohan Beast one first. Are you kidding me? Look at my man, bro. Let's actually take a look at this on the Tamashii Nations official Instagram page. Of course, like I said, I made videos on all of this stuff already, so I'm not going to go too in-depth with it. However, obviously I have to include it in the video, bro. It's Gohan Beast. We've been waiting for this figure for so long. This is super sick. I think they absolutely nailed this figure. They did such a good job with this guy. I don't think I could have asked for a better version of this guy. I really like this. It's so cool too that they decided to add the battle damage to the body, because obviously this is literally just the same sculpt as the Ultimate Gohan from Super Hero. So it's nice that since you are basically just buying the same figure again, they're obviously giving you a little bit of a difference, which is nice. They also did give him a pretty cool teaser, which was cool the day before, which was nice to see that they were hyping him up that much. We did also have a ton of pictures. Like I said, I went over these in a previous video, so definitely go check out that video if you'd like to see all the pictures of this guy and all the other figures. Don't worry, we'll get to Vegeta later. I'll leave links to this whole thing because this was basically all of the pictures from the event, right? All of the different Dragon Ball SH Figure Arts figures. So if you want to take a look at all that, I'll leave it in the description. However, this was pretty cool because this I did not actually show in that video. Not only was this just a great shot of the display, but this shot right here is really cool. And not to mention, I think this is interesting to note because the bang is kind of like pushed off to the side. You can see that a lot easier in this shot, which I just think is kind of interesting with the angle, right? It kind of looks like in this shot that it's a little bit more like centered on his face. But then, of course, if we go here, you can kind of see it's almost like brushed to the side. I wonder if they did that because then maybe you wouldn't be able to see the figure's face or something like that. But I feel like I remember the bang being more closer to the center of his face, which is weird because obviously if we look here, it kind of gives that illusion, but I suppose looking at it like this, it's also kind of cocked to the side. I don't know. Kind of an interesting just detail that I feel like I didn't notice. Maybe it was obvious to some and I'm just a numbskull, which is entirely possible. But definitely super sick. I think they obviously, I mean, look at it, bro. They nailed the face on this one for sure. And I think as well with the eyes too, right? Like that was a huge thing for me that I really wanted to see them do well. And I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park. So very excited with how this guy turned out. Was this more Gohan Beast? Yes. So this was another high quality picture of Piccolo actually. Again, it looks very, very good. It is kind of a shame that the wrist joints don't really like, I don't want to say line up, but you can see that they kind of like have a little bit of a gap, but maybe that's just because of the design, and it's hard to obviously like get a figure to properly have articulation and line up with its design sometimes. And obviously this is kind of because his hand is stretched out a little bit, but overall I think this guy looks fantastic. And here are some other super high quality. These are like mega HD, which is very nice. Look at my boy. Oh, he looks so good, dude. And they did such a good job with the hair, too. This is so great. I cannot wait to get my hands on this figure. This was from Emmy News, actually, is where these pictures were from, which is interesting. So I'll include a link to this as well, because this is like everything from the event, I believe. Not just Dragon Ball, right? This is literally like everything that we saw at the event. So if you want to take a look at these pictures in more detail, I'll chuck a link in the description to this as well. But yeah, very excited about this figure. I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy, and Orange Piccolo, of course, too. I think both of them look fantastic, if I do say so myself. All right. So moving on from that, let's go ahead and yoink some of our tabs here. We have Pan, of course. This was also another figure that was shown earlier, and then she did get announced at the event, the Tamashii Nations Tokyo event. And we did also get some more pictures of her. Interesting stuff with Pan. We kind of thought that she was going to come with a little bit more. But it is just this faceplate, the water bottle from the training scene with Piccolo, the Hua face, and basically that's essentially it. It also does come with another head for the Ultimate Gohan. I swear they are milking this figure for everything that it's got. But this is a very nice head sculpt, if I do say so myself. I quite like this a lot. But this is going to come in the box with Pam. And if you would like to get this figure, it actually does have a pre-order already up on Premium Bandai. I actually need to pre-order this myself. Oh, right. And of course, the neutral face sculpt as well is also there for Pam. But yeah, this figure does look really good, right? Like, I think the articulation is very good for how small the figure is. However, I will say, not only is this a Premium Bandai figure, which is already really unfortunate because obviously, you know, it's just kind of a shame when anything becomes a Premium Bandai figure, to be honest with you, unless it's like very specific characters that kind of fit the bill. But with Pan, I really think $50 is really overpriced. Like, I think they could have charged $40 and maybe gotten away with it. But man, I think that this is kind of a little bit of a highway robbery, if I'm being honest with you, with how small the figure is. Because remember, she is going to be absolutely tiny, right? Let's see if we can find a measurement here. I don't know if they'll actually have one. Yeah, as you can see here, she has... Oh, she actually has 4 different faceplates. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad we scrolled down. I knew we would be able to get all the information if we literally just went on the Premium Bandai link. But yeah, optional face part. Does it say her height here? It does not, unfortunately, but that's okay. Oh, apparently it comes with 2 plastic bottles. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Yeah, but this figure is going to be tiny, obviously, because it's Pan, right? And it's supposed to be in scale with the other superhero figures. And the other thing to keep in mind with this is that the shipping on Premium Bandai is also always $10. I don't know why that's the way that they do it. You can literally never get free shipping. The only time they ever did it was for a Valentine's Day special, and you could only do it if you were a new customer with a new account. It was kind of cringe, I'm not going to lie to you. So this is actually going to be more like a $60 figure with the shipping. So I know I'm personally going to get it because obviously there's literally no other way to get this figure and this character, and you know I'm a superhero crackhead. So of course I'm going to be picking this up, but definitely up to you on this one. If you really like Pan and you like this figure, this is absolutely the only way to get it. But it is just really unfortunate that it's going to basically cost you 60 buckaroonies to be able to cop Pan. Very unfortunate, but, you know, Bandai will be Bandai, as it were. So that was also something pretty cool that we got from the Tamashii Nations Tokyo event. If we do a scroll over to here, we do also have 2 other SH Figure Arts figures that got some info. We got the SH Figure Arts. Let me actually pop over to Tamashii's Instagram page because they posted pictures of these. The Super Saiyan Vegeta Awakened Saiyan Fruit Punch. Can't say the name because, you know, YouTube monetization. But this is basically, finally, a new version of the Armored Vegeta and also Trunks. This figure looks very interesting, I have to say. I feel like his body is kind of slim. I think that also some of the face sculpts look a little bit weird. Like, this one looks kind of odd. And this one looks like perfect, but also strange to me. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, I feel like it's so perfect for what they're going for, but at the same time, it's also like a little bit off. I don't know. It's just a little bit strange to me, if I'm being honest with you. I think his whole build just looks a little bit weird. I like this face sculpt a lot, though, if I do say so myself. And the other thing to note with this guy, too, is that he probably will look better in person, because weirdly enough, I feel like with these SH Figure Arts figures, especially with like the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, which we'll get to take a look at in person, look at him finally today, they have always looked better in person lately, where I feel like in these production images, sometimes the faces don't do it justice to in person, which is weird because usually it's the opposite, right? But this time around, this is what we got. So that's the boy Vegeta. As you can see, he's going to be 3,600 yen. So that's like around $35 USD. Probably will be like 34 bucks. That's probably going to be the retail. And he comes out in April 2023. As well, we also have the boy Trunks. And you can see that Trunks himself also comes out in April 2023, and he is going to be 65,000 or 65,000 yen. Holy cow, could you imagine? 6,500 yen. So he will be around the $65 mark. Probably, I'm imagining that they're going to charge 60 bucks or a couple of more for this one. Just because, you know, that will kind of make sense to me. And the cool thing about this figure, I will say, besides how good he looks like, man, they did a really good job on the boy Trunks. Like, I think this one looks much better than Vegeta, for me personally, anyway. But not only does he obviously come with the base form head, it'll be interesting to see what kind of faceplates they give him, too. It may just be this one base form head, and they don't actually give him any other faceplates. It's kind of a shame, but there is customs for that, I suppose. Because it does say here, right? Trunks comes with an optional hair and expression parts to display him both in standard and Super Saiyan forms. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, this is when Trunks takes out Frieza. We have the burning attack, right? Very cool stuff. I will say this front-on angle looks very, very strange. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it just happens to be that it's a weird camera angle, but like his hair does look very weird, and I feel like the bangs look really long there. But like if we go to these images, like I think this looks good. Maybe the bangs are like a little bit too long here for my personal taste. I mean, they are still pretty long in the anime, but yeah, I mean, like, overall, I think he looks really, really good. And obviously, we have not had a Trunks and Vegeta figure in a really long time. I think it's been over a decade, actually, that Trunks himself has had a figure, from what they were talking about in the they did a little live stream for the Tamashii Nations Tokyo event, taking a look at all the Dragon Ball figures, and I believe that's what they said for Trunks, which is crazy. 2 other things to note from that event as well. This sword that Trunks has is actually the full sword that you can put in the scabbard, which is so cool. It's not an additional piece like I'm sure you were probably thinking it would be, where it's just like the handle and then a little bit of the sword to sort of emulate that. No, they engineered this so you can actually take the entire sword and put it in and out of the scabbard, which is so cool. Like, that's awesome in terms of the figure engineering department. I think that that is just so neat, personally. I really, really like that little detail. And the other thing that they did mention at the Tamashii Nations Tokyo live stream when they were talking about these two is apparently in the works there's also a SH Figuarts Mecha Frieza incoming. They didn't show any pictures of that. They literally showed the pictures of the prototypes to the hosts, and they didn't show it to the camera, and they're like, we can't tell you what this is, but you know, they basically implied it, and obviously all of the hints were, like, blatantly obvious that they're talking about Mecha Frieza. And, I mean, I guess it makes sense since we're getting the Cell Saga figures, right? Of course, obviously, Mecha Frieza is sort of the one that kicks off the Cell Saga. Not, like, the events of the Cell Saga, but the events of the Cell Saga. I think you understand what I'm getting at. Anyway, though, that's the boy Trunks. I think he does look really, really good for sure. I am absolutely excited to get my hands on them. Big Bad Toy Store does apparently have them up for pre-order, which is pretty interesting. Ooh, we actually didn't see this picture before. That's pretty cool. Obviously, that's still using the same faceplate. And there is Vegeta sort of clenching his fist. I don't know if I'll get this figure. I may even just get it just for the Saiyan armor, just to kind of chuck it on to some other figures. I think that could be interesting. But yeah, it looks like that Big Bad Toy Store, you can pre-order this for 35 bucks, and they're going to ship it out in June. Obviously, with Big Bad Toy Store, their prices are kind of a little bit different than MSRP sometimes, and sometimes their release dates are a little bit later, depending on the figure. And with Trunks, you can see that they are listing him, at least on Big Bad Toy Store, for $68, and he is going to come out in June. Obviously, like we showed before, these guys are both going to come out in April normally. So I'm assuming that'll be like over-the-counter release type of stuff. Ooh, we didn't see this picture in the original. That's pretty cool. That's a great faceplate. Holy cow. Yeah, that one I think was kind of hidden in the side one where he's actually, you know, just blowing up Frieza. That's really cool. I like that a lot, actually. That's sick. Yeah, we also didn't see this one. That's nice. Ooh, and the gritting teeth face. Yeah, his expressions are really good. I like how chunky his legs are, too. Very, very nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I think that's probably the screaming face right there, but you just kind of can't see it. It'll be interesting to see how much this guy actually retails for, like, from store shelves. It'll also be interesting to see if this guy, I mean, I'm assuming since he's not premium Bandai, that this will just be something you can go to the store and then pick up, right? Like, usually with the $35 figures, like the boy Vegeta, that's usually the case with those types, right? Where you could literally just go to a Barnes & Noble or a Target and they'll probably have it. So it'll be interesting to see if Trunks has it. I would maybe wait on pre-ordering it from Big Bad Toy Store for the moment, just to see if you can get it for a cheaper price when the figure actually releases. Okay, so this was really interesting too. We have the new Dragon Stars figures up for pre-order. We actually do have some high quality images of all of these. Of course, this is technically under the Dragon Stars moniker, but this is a different line, right? It's the Dragon Stars brand, but a different sort of figure line, where these are a little bit bigger. Basically, these guys are about a foot tall, and this is the Limit Breaker Ultimate Gohan, obviously from Dragon Ball Superhero. I've talked about these Limit Breaker figures a couple times whenever I see them. They're supposed to be like these bigger, like, you know, they're more like toys than they are collectibles. I know they try and market it that way, but like, dog, look at my man's face. And just look at the overall quality, right? Like, as a toy and as a kid, obviously this would be sick. But to have this on your shelf as a collector's item is kind of like, eh. I think the only one that actually looks good enough to sort of pass for that is the Golden Frieza, which I've talked about that in the past. All the human characters kind of have the very weird look on their face sort of thing going on. But we do have the Dragon Stars Gamma 1 as well as some of the other characters here. And I have to say, I think I talked about this in a previous video, but I guess I may as well mention it again. Here's the accessories he comes with, by the way. Obviously, with the SH Figuarts Gamma 1 and 2 being exclusive to Premium Bandai, and I believe you actually can't order them anymore because I think the pre-order's closed for them. If you missed those figures, these would honestly not be too terrible of an alternative. From what I'm seeing here, obviously it has that very action figure aesthetic to it for sure. But 100%, this guy does not look too bad. I think you could easily put this guy with some of your SH Figuarts figures and get away with it just fine. He actually looks really, really good. I think he's definitely one of the best looking Dragon Stars figures that I've seen for sure. We also have Piccolo. He, I believe, comes in the battle pack. with Gamma 2, I believe, and I think that he actually not only just looks pretty good, but obviously with Gamma 2 we'll actually get to see him later on, because they said they're only showing these now, and a superhero Goku. Why do his shoulders look so weird? Something about the way that his shoulders are placed looks very strange. Why is he also so small in this image? I'm not so sure. But yeah, I definitely think at least with Gamma 1, right, you could definitely get away with putting this guy in to the overall collection. And as you can see, right, Gohan obviously is 12-inch, Piccolo 6.5, and basically the rest of these guys are. We also saw this Frieza and Goku battle pack a little bit ago as well. These guys, I'm assuming these are on Big Bad Toy Store. Yeah, so this guy's like 23 bucks. That is the nice thing about these Dragon Stars figures, is that they're really never that expensive, right? Basically around like the $20 mark for these. I think that the battle pack, though... oh no, Piccolo is actually an individual figure. Interesting. I think there'll be another additional pack that comes with him in Gamma 2. I think that's what it was. But anyway, yeah, obviously this is pretty expensive because you're getting 2 figures in one and you're getting some effect pieces. So, you know, basically the standard price of a Dragon Stars figure is 20 bucks, and then you're also getting some effect pieces. So, like, in the end, this amount may seem kind of a bit expensive, but it's kind of worth it for the price if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, there's the boy. Definitely decent cop if you are into Dragon Stars for sure. Not my thing personally, but I definitely think that it is pretty cool. Okay, so obviously, with the Tamashii Nation special report, they made a little video talking about everything that happened at the event. This was actually the video that I was talking about. It's like the live stream where they basically went through and looked at all of the different Dragon Ball figures that were shown off at the Tamashii Nations event. I can even show you. Let's see. So yeah, I was kind of around here. Yeah, right here they got these pieces of paper, and they were basically shown like Mecha Frieza, the SH Figure Arts one that's still in production. This video as well, obviously I'll leave a link to dbzfigures.com, so if you'd like to check out this video too. It was a very interesting live stream. It was a little like 30-minute thing. If I remember to put a direct link to the stream, I will, but I may forget, so I apologize if I do on that one. But yeah, we also had Dragon Ball figure news, and it was basically just showing off Pan in a little bit more of a hands-on fashion. She does look a little bit bigger than I actually anticipated. Obviously, in the background, you can see there that she is kind of compared to this guy's hands here. Yeah, definitely a little bit bigger than I expected, which is nice because obviously since you're paying 60 bucks total for the figure, you would hope that it would be a little bit on the bigger side, so that's nice. This was really cool to see. I was absolutely shocked when I saw this. So if you're unfamiliar, some of these statue companies have been partnering with Toei officially to bring us some Dragon Ball statues, and I have to say, holy cow, this Frieza looks sick. This is really, really cool. We have all of these different pictures here. Actually, give me 1 second. I actually forgot to include this in the video, so I'm glad this reminded me. The boy DBS Hype actually did tweet out these images. I don't know why they're so small, but overall, I think this guy looks really, really fantastic. Like, holy cow, they captured the likeness of Frieza so well here. They did an absolute bang-up job with this. Like, this is one of the first times I think I've looked at one of these, you know, resin statues that are officially licensed by Toei and really went, wow, they captured the character very, very well. I've also never heard of this company before either, Ryu Studios. I think they've done a couple of the things before, but like basically until they've done these Toei licensed statues, I've really never heard of them before, so it's kind of interesting. We also did get these pictures sent my way, as you can see. My boy Devil Toyaki, shout out to the goat, actually sent me a couple of images of Frieza on display at the Thailand Comic-Con, next to some of the other Dragon Ball statues that he made. You can see how big these statues are compared to this guy right here. Holy moly, dude, that is crazy. But yeah, look at this thing in person, dude. It looks so good. Even the base looks absolutely insane. Frieza's expression is so crazed and so demented, and I feel like it fits the character perfectly. He even has a quick second, I was trying to say 7-second video, but yeah, quick video of the boy. looks really great if I do say so myself. Like, this statue is such a good looking one. If this thing wasn't so expensive, I may consider getting this thing myself. Even like the base looks really cool with all the like details of the exploding planet and stuff like that on it. So yeah, I'm very happy to report that finally a very good looking statue, if I do say so myself. This one absolutely looks incredible. And an officially licensed one at that. You love to see it. Yeah, very good. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, because I would be keen to hear your thoughts. We did have the next Dragon Ball Adverge set come out, which we actually will take a look at these images in a little bit later in the video. I have some high quality ones for you. But obviously the way that these work, these are little minifigures that you can get. It looks like that they actually have, is this going to be on Big Bad Toy Store? Yeah. You can buy all of them for 50 bucks total, which, I mean, sometimes they actually charge 8 to 10 individually for these figures, which is really overpriced if I'm being honest. But knowing that price, I feel like this maybe isn't that bad of a buy for 50 bucks. I mean, I know that may seem kind of expensive for most, but I mean, it is Gohan Beast, which I have to note, obviously, that is the big heavy hitter of this set, along with Orange Piccolo. It's kind of funny to me that the second figure ever that we get of Gohan Beast, at least officially shown, right? Not necessarily released, is not only Dragon Ball Adverge, but a minifigure nonetheless. Like I said, we will take a more detailed look at that later on. Let me actually see. Hold on. Maybe I can pull it up from here and we can just kind of sneak it into the video right now. I kind of forgot that they would talk about it here. Ah, perfect. So yes, these are the super high quality production images. Obviously, keep in mind, these are all minifigures. That's why the quality looks the way that it does. But man, I mean, obviously the Dragon Ball Adverge line usually looks pretty good. And I think they did a good job. Honestly, his hair maybe even could have been a little bit bigger. But like, for a minifigure, I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I will honestly probably pick up this guy, if not the whole set. Orange Piccolo also looks really, really good. I think they did a really good job with him. He is like super bulky, super wide, but it fits Orange Piccolo. Like it looks like a Chiba-fied version of Orange Piccolo, which I mean is literally what, you know, he is. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. We also have Dr. Hedo here, which is nice to finally get a figure of him. That's even more of a reason to just cop this set, to be honest. He also looks very, very good. I feel like he fits this style of Dragon Ball Adverge very well, too. We have Goten, which is very nice. Again, a Goten figure in the new outfit, right? Again, even though it's a minifigure, still pretty cool. We have Vegeta, which, I mean, if anything, it's nice that he's at least in the Buu arc outfit for this, but of course, you know, the DBS version. We have Trunks as well. We'll say something about his face looks a little bit weird, which is kind of funny because, I mean, Dragon Ball Adverge is supposed to be like Chiba-fied, but I still feel like his face is a little bit too like chunky almost. But overall, he looks good too. And then we have Broly from the movie, which also he is in, I mean, technically an outfit that he sports in DBS, Broly, but obviously in Superhero, this is what he's in the whole time. So yeah, pretty cool, to be honest with you. I actually really, really like this set. I'm definitely going to try and cop this for sure, with the boy Gohan Beast in it for sure. There is one thing that I do want to note that is a little bit of a shame for this one, and we got some more reusing here. As you can see here, they literally just reused the same one for the Ultimate version, the Super Saiyan version, and then for Gohan Beast. Obviously, they changed up the face and, of course, the hair. But I did actually make a point for this one when it came to the Dragon Ball Adverge thing. Like, the whole point of Dragon Ball Adverge, when it's just regular Dragon Ball Adverge and not Dragon Ball Adverge Motion, is that they're all just standing there. He's just standing there menacingly, right? So, essentially, it makes sense to me that they would do this. I mean, what other body would they decide to use, right? So I think at least for this one, I'm going to give them a pass because, I mean, like, basically all of the Dragon Ball Adverge line is like this, right? But obviously this kind of does lead into a little bit of, unfortunately, what this probably does mean is that the DXF Gohan that obviously we saw we were getting a Gohan Beast version of is probably just going to be the same body reused, unfortunately. I'm hoping that that's not the case because, I mean, besides him, I guess, just standing there looking up at Cell Max. Wait a minute, that would actually be the perfect pose for this kind of straight up and down body. Well, I just answered my own question, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to see how he actually looks once we actually get the images of the figure. But that is this Dragon Ball Adverge set. I'm actually pretty excited for this. I'm usually not too crazy on Dragon Ball Adverge. I do own a couple of the minifigures. Actually, funny enough, I have a little blue Gogeta sitting on my graphics card on my PC. But I usually don't buy these full sets. But your boy might actually have to cop this one because this is looking pretty cool. And finally, we do have the Dragon Ball Z Ichiban show for the Ginyu Force. As you can see here, we have the members of the Ginyu Force representing. I did make a video on these guys already when we got this announced, because we were waiting for another Ichiban Kuchi to be announced, and these guys kind of got announced out of the blue, sort of. So we were sort of bamboozled by the Ginyu Force, which I guess is kind of ironic considering how the Ginyu Force goes in the actual anime. But interestingly enough, there is actually a Ichiban show for these guys, which is sort of surprising that we are getting these guys overseas. Now, let's go ahead and talk about them right now, because I do have a couple of tweets lined up here in the list. But since we have this page already here, let's go ahead and take a look at these. So, here's what's kind of interesting about these, right? First of all, the prices of these guys are, kind of abysmal, if I do say so myself. 84 bucks for Birder, $84 for Raccoon, $63 for Ginyu, Jace, $47. Guldo, sorry, they both got G names. $38, over 300 big ones if you want to be able to collect this full set and you are overseas. Wow. That is kind of ridiculous if you ask me. We have been talking about for quite a long time in these figure news videos, and as well just like in general with different figure content that I make, how crazy the price increase has been for a lot of these Ichiban shows. And yeah, I think you can kind of see where I'm coming from here. This is a little bit of a rough one. I'm not even gonna front with you. Like, I don't even know if I have anything that can properly describe how just unfortunate this is. I mean, I wish there was more that we could do or say, but like, man, this is just kind of a rough situation if I'm being honest with you, Chief. We do have some multi-angles of all these guys, which is pretty cool. And the other thing that's a bit of a shame is, like, even though these poses aren't too dynamic for these guys, I will say, I mean, I think all of the figures do look very nice. Like, there's nothing really immediately about these guys. Like, some figures, sometimes I'll see these and I'll go, ooh, yeah, that's kind of, you know, there's a sculpting issue there, or there's a paint job issue there, or something like that, right? But with these guys, they just kind of seem like really good. Like, they just seem like genuinely decent quality figures. I would honestly be more keen to get these if they weren't so expensive. Like, the sculpting detail on all of these guys look really good. Like, the little dots on Guldo and Birder, right? Like, they look so well sculpted in on his skin, right? As well for the boy. Look at those little dots that they have all over that. I'm really hoping that that doesn't end up looking kind of nasty on the final figure. The hair sculpt for Jace looks absolutely fantastic, right? Even Ginyu's weird brain cranium thing that he has going on, right? Like, I think that that also looks pretty good too with the way that they textured that out. I don't know. It's just a real shame that this Ichiban show just seems to be so overpriced. I don't know. I really don't like the way that they're going in terms of the pricing for these, because obviously if you're a fan in the States, it's basically just becoming increasingly more and more difficult to justify buying these figures, especially when you can just buy them from Japan and get them for cheaper than you would be getting them from the actual retail price here. So what a time that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. What a time. But We do have a little bit more info on these guys. We do have the sizes for them as well, as you can see here. The packaging for them, Ginyu and Jace, are going to be 20 centimeters by 15 by 15, which is kind of weird that they're the same size box, because Jace is obviously going to be smaller than Ginyu, but to each their own, I guess. I don't know. Burner and Raccoon are obviously going to be the biggest, which makes sense because they are the biggest members of the Force, and Guldo is going to be a little tiny guy, little tiny boy, but that, I mean, makes sense because, you know, look how small of a figure he is too. I do believe I have one more piece of Ginyu Force information for you. Nope, I actually think that's it. Besides, of course, the original post here, Big Bad Toy Store does have these up for pre-order, and they do basically match up with the prices that Baggy has, which is good here. Like, let's take a look at the boy Raccoon. You can see here, yeah, 83 bucks, which is literally what Baggy had here. Or, well, 84, I mean, 83.99, you know, same difference. So, I mean, if you would like to pre-order these, which, I probably wouldn't recommend doing that, especially with these prices, because the thing is, the quality of these figures has not gone up in any stretch of the imagination, right? As a matter of fact, I have a tweet that I was going to save for later, but I feel like it's kind of appropriate for right now, because this is kind of the reason why we are so frustrated with this price increase. This particular individual just received their Ichiban show for the Androids one, and you can see that the quality on these is not that great. Look at the scuff, the yuck on the paint job on the top of this Android 17 here. You can see that Android 18's feet are not flat. It literally looks like the feet of a bootleg figure, right? And then, of course, Android 18's hair here. I'm not exactly sure what's the problem here, actually. I can't really tell, to be honest with you. It also doesn't help that the pictures are in kind of a dark room. But yeah, like this, bro. Eey, yikes. That is literally something that I see on bootleg figures on AliExpress, where they have it so that the feet aren't flat-footed. That is kind of a big fat yikes, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Especially this, right? Like, the thing is, with these figures, I understand that they're not supposed to be like premium quote-unquote figures or anything like that. But if they're going to be charging prices like this, that are basically like premium figure prices, the quality of the figures cannot end up with these defects, right? You expect a quality product, especially when you're paying more money for it. And I understand that most people may be sick of me complaining about this type of thing now, and other people in the community complaining about it, excuse me. But it's a big deal, right? And it's a big deal to us as collectors and as fans of the series, because obviously when you love something a lot like this, you want it to be well represented in its merchandising, right? And because as much as we hate to say it, merchandising is a big part of, you know, the way that a show spreads out, or like how people indulge and enjoy in a show. So obviously you want the merchandise to be a good representation of the source material, and it's always just a shame when stuff like this happens. But if you would like to pre-order the Ginyu Force gang, they are up there for you. Let's actually take a look, because we didn't actually get to see it on Baggy's tweets, the Goku. I know for a fact that this guy definitely has some reused parts, and I mean, especially with that, right? His pose just looks really awkward, if I do say so myself. I think it's probably because they reused a bunch of different assets from different Gokus and kind of smashed them together that he looks a little bit awkward like this, but I feel like his pose just looks very stiff, right? I feel like it just definitely doesn't look too natural, which is kind of a shame. So, and of course, we did talk about this in the Ginyu Force video from a while ago, but they do have that Goku Ginyu figure as a part of this set that is the last one prize. And of course, you will have to import that if you want that, because they never usually do the last one prize. They did it like 1 or 2 times in Ichiban Kuji history, but they haven't really done it since then. Alright, so that is everything on Dragon Ball figure news. Thank you, as always, dbfigures.com, for holding it down. I think I just said everything on Dragon Ball figure news. I meant to say, like, dbzfigure.com, their news section. You know what I mean. Anyway, besides all that, let's go ahead and skip to where we were before. It's hard to find our place since we moved around our tabs a little bit here. But I believe we should be... Hold on, we're getting there. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. How do we even get here? Oh, right. This was all those pictures from the convention. Here we go. So this is the rest of the stuff that we got to take a look at today. We did have the Great Saiyaman, or I guess this would technically be the Gold Fighter, right? The Gohan from the World Tournament release. Again, we did see this guy a little bit last time, but this guy looks really, really good. Here is that poster, by the way. We do have a HD version of this. Very nice. The Clear Eyes posters always look super minty fresh, and this one is no exception. This is such a nice poster, ladies and gentlemen. We also do have some more pictures of him in a little bit better lighting as well, too. Obviously, these are in the actual, I almost said Macari for some reason. These are in the actual arcade machines that you can pull these guys out of, that they have in Japan, of course, where you can get these figures from. And you can see there he is. I will say the one thing that is a little bit unfortunate about this figure, and this is something that Bandai has done a lot in recent time. I don't know why they think that this is a good idea, because it always doesn't look good on the figure. There's been like 1 or 2 figures that I was like, wow, this looks good, or this figure could benefit from this type of thing. When they put that little black line, right, like, funny enough, in this picture, it doesn't look as bad, but if we go back to, like, that other set of images here, right, like, with this one, right, maybe it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it kind of fits, but I feel like it's just a very thick black line that doesn't need to be there. Like, they could have just sculpted in his mouth detail and called it a day and not really had the line be there, but I don't think it's too intrusive. Overall, I think this figure is still fantastic, and I'm so happy that this guy turned out as good as he did, because, man, this is a figure I was really looking forward to, and obviously this is an outfit that we, like, literally never get when it comes to figures, so very good stuff here. I'm excited to see this bad boy do pretty well. I'm definitely going to do a review of this guy at some point, whenever I can get around to getting him for sure. We did have a couple of extra pictures from the prize fair. I don't know how these sort of snuck under the radar, but I do like the look of this. This is a very cool angle for this Trunks figure as well. We do have the boy Kid Buu, which we've kind of seen that picture a bunch. This is a really nice picture, though. This is kind of looking like something that I would take for the end of one of my unboxing videos, to be honest with you. This does look pretty cool with the 2 father and a son figures duking it out there, and then we have sort of Gohan's perspective there. Photo ban, don't take picture. Yeah, this was from 4gamer.net. I have literally never heard of this website before. Oh, makes sense, because it's a Japanese website. It looks like it was like literally everything that was at the event, so if you want to scroll through this for yourself and see, right, here's some different close-ups of some of the figures, right? Definitely some good looking stuff, and I'm very excited to get my hands on a bunch of this as well. Holy cow, I think it's because this website is in Japan and I'm in the States, but these images are loading very slow. But look at how good this Goku looks. I cannot wait to get my hands on this figure either. I'm very excited to cop a bunch of this stuff for sure. Moving on from that, this was a nice little piece of info to keep an eye out for. The December BSP prize figure dates tomorrow. Vegeta should be between December 6th and December 9th. I did not actually see this info come out yet, so I don't think this actually dropped, but this is just good to know that this should be coming up soon. But again, it should basically be early December is kind of the estimate for when this guy's going to be coming out. Oh, and we actually did get the dates. Wow, I had it pulled up and I didn't even know. Go me. December prize figure Japanese release dates confirmed. Yep, Baggy was right on the nose with Vegito with the 6th. The Retsuden figures the 15th. The DXF Gohan the 20th, and the History Box Frieza the 21st. This is the last month before the price increase, so I'm curious what the difference in the order numbers from game stations are going to be for December compared to January. Yeah, bumping up the prices of these figures again. I am so disappointed that they're doing this, because they've already bumped them up a couple of times for the prize figures, and obviously we already talked about that with the Ichiban Kuji figures. We don't need to go over that again. This was a nice little thing to sort of round us off for today. Obviously, I talked about before that the Super Saiyan Vegeta SH Figuarts figure released recently. Let me see if this person's actually posted any other pictures of him. But this guy actually looks really good. I was honestly kind of surprised how good he looks. Obviously, here he is standing next to Goku, and of course, them doing the iconic Super Saiyan 4 power-up moment from GT. This honestly looks a lot better than I thought. Like, I think he looks even better than he does on the box. Funny enough, this guy actually has a picture of him just chilling in the box, so I can put that on the screen for you. I think he looks way better than even like this picture right here, right? Because obviously this screaming face is the same one that they use here. And maybe it's just the angle or something like that compared to the image on the box. But I think this looks so much better than a lot of the production images. Like even some of the stuff that's on the back of the box and just all the production images that we've seen for this guy so far up until this point. I think the faces look so much better in person than they do on the actual images, which is just so weird to me. This is kind of what I was talking about way earlier in the video with the Trunks, right? That I feel like Trunks and Vegeta's faces may look a little bit better when we actually get to see them out of the box. I'm very excited to get this figure. Not only do I love the Super Saiyan 4 Goku SH Figuarts figure, but this will be a fantastic figure to pair with him. And I think they may have even gotten Vegeta's face like even better than Goku's, maybe. At least for the smiling face. I think the screaming face for Goku, they absolutely nailed it for the Super Saiyan 4. Not that both of them are, or the smiling face rather, I mean both of them are really good. I was going to say not that this one is necessarily bad, but I just think Vegeta's, they may have even captured his likeness even a little bit better. And you can even kind of see, like, it almost looks like they even updated the sculpt a little bit in terms of just, like, some of the Super Saiyan 4 specific stuff on Vegeta compared to Goku. Obviously, his pants are definitely a different design, but that's just, you know, from a design standpoint, not really the figure. But you can see it kind of looks like Goku has a little bit of a gap here, which is kind of what it looks like on my copy too. And it looks like that's a little bit less present on this guy. So that'll be cool to see. I cannot wait to get my hands on this figure. Again, I'm very, very excited for him. And I'm glad that he ended up turning out pretty good. But I think that is everything for our Dragon Ball figure news for today. Let me go ahead and refresh Baggy's Twitter reel here just to make sure. Yep. Nothing too crazy, just this cool picture of Dragon Ball Superhero. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you thought of everything that we talked about in the comment section below today. Obviously, we did cover quite a bit, but also didn't really feel like a lot. It was sort of a light week, but that's also sort of because we covered literally everything that was super nutso already in a couple of videos from earlier this week, or I guess it would be technically last week by this point. Man, time really flies, huh? Thank you guys so much for watching, though. I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.